the most important thing, not just from the memo, but from the underlying documents that I have seen, is that full disclosures weren't made to the FISA court. And why that's so important, Maria, the FISA court, unlike any other court in America, including the Supreme Court, doesn't hear both sides. This is a court where the government comes forward, and in this case, if they ask for surveillance on an American citizen, it's up to the government to make full disclosure. And in this case, in asking for a warrant against someone associated with the Trump campaign, disclosure was not made that dossier that was the basis of it was paid for by Hillary Clinton's campaign and prepared by someone who had an expressed desire to keep Donald Trump from becoming president, or that the FBI director himself called it unverified. Those are disclosures that had to be made that weren't made.
At that point, John's 100% correct, but in addition to that, the information was bogus. Sure, they didn't tell the judge, but they also didn't tell the judge that the information was made up. It was phony. You know, this is a serious, serious matter. Criminal contempt, false statements, conspiracy to lie to the court, denying civil rights under the color of law, perjury. I mean, these are serious, serious things. During my career, I was involved in one way or another with literally hundreds of these types of orders. And the way it was looked at was meticulous, the chain of command, the number of people that you'd have to sit down and do a mortarboard with to convince that you actually had a legitimate case to go to the judge. And I think these people, these sycophants that were around Comey and in the Department of Justice and elsewhere, was so cocksure that Hillary Clinton had a 99.9% chance of winning, they just threw caution to the wind.
You bring up Uranium One, and it's an important thing to bring up because the Hillary Clinton investigation seems to have been in even before they interviewed her. The fix was in, Congressman, and I know you've spoken about this before because you actually interviewed Jim Comey at that testimony last September 2016, when you were looking at all of the behavior of the FBI and coming up with this conclusion that there should be no charges. Let me show this quick clip of you talking to Jim Comey last September.
Did you make the decision not to recommend criminal charges relating to classified information before or after Hillary Clinton was interviewed by the FBI on July the 2nd?
After.
Congressman, he said after. He lied to you.
You know, Jim Comey is tweeting that Republicans are attacking the FBI. The Democrats are saying the same thing. Maria, before this memo was ever released, more than half the country believed that Hillary Clinton was not charged with mishandling classified information because her name was Hillary Clinton. More than half of the people in this country believed that they would be in a slammer right now if they had done the things that she had done. So we're trying to restore faith and trust in the Department of Justice, and it's these types of investigations that can do that.
How tough is it to restore this, to turn the ship around, Jim Kallstrom?
Well, I mean, there has to be a strategy now by the president to, and the new FBI director, to really cleanse the FBI of these people that don't respect the rule of law, that have thrown the FBI under the bus, the 99% of agents that are out there every day risking their lives, doing the incredible things to look at all the 300 different federal statutes, from the Migratory Bird Act to espionage.
Those guys and gals have been besmirched by their
leaders. Yeah, they've been
leaders.
besmirched, and they've been let down in this traitorous bunch of people that basically just, you know, look the other way from what their sworn duty was, and it's just pathetic. And I think they're, you know, I think they're in deep trouble. I think there's a possible obstruction of justice, along with the perjury. The Federal Records Act has been violated numerous times. On the Hillary Clinton case, I mean, that was just a sham investigation. Comey brought all investigations on Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, anything to do with the Obama administration into headquarters.
Yeah.
So the whole investigative FBI out there in the field offices were basically cut off from these investigations. So they knew nothing of it. And it was a small group of people that conducted this sham investigation. They didn't need a lot of people because they didn't do anything. Yet there was so much evidence of Hillary Clinton's violation of about 12 federal statutes that you could fill up a pickup truck with what were just laying around.
So what's
Well, that's what our investigation is going to reveal. I can tell you that I have looked at the underlying source documents, which include more revelations regarding Bruce Orr and his wife, Nellie, and the connection with GPS. There was a direct pipeline into the DOJ, essentially from the Democratic National Committee and Fusion GPS,
Right.
that is troubling. More bad details are going to come out about that, unfortunately. Who at the FBI was aware of that? We're still determining that.
And it feels like, Jim Kallstrom, we are pursuing an investigation of potential collusion between Trump and Russia, something that doesn't exist, and we're not investigating something that we know exists, and that is this bias and this corruption at the top of the FBI, which is why the congressman's comments are so important this morning.
When Comey was fired, he applied soon after that to be the FBI director. Went to the White House with Robert Rosenstein, I understand. Was turned down for that job, and then a day or two later, Rosenstein appoints him as the special counsel when there was no predicate crime.
Yeah.
There was a conflict of interest as long as the Jersey Turnpike. And speaking of Rosenstein, he signs one of these orders. The Deputy Attorney General signs one of these continuous FISA orders. Now, is he claiming he did not know that this was bogus information? That he did not know the court was not giving the information about the whole, the DNC and the
Thank you, Maria.
What do you want to see take place here? People want to see accountability. We are well aware of what took place at the top of the FBI around the election.
Well, the Intelligence Committee, we have to finish our investigation of the whole collusion issue. And I can tell you right now, as far as I'm concerned, there's been no evidence of any collusion whatsoever. We still have several witnesses to go through. We will have to issue a report on that. We also will be doing a report, or at least doing an analysis of the CIA, the intelligence community's assessment last year about Russia and the Trump campaign. And I think the American people are going to see that really this has been 15 months of a sustained attack on President Trump by certain people in the intelligence community, certain people in the FBI. Again, what their motives are, I'm not going to jump to that conclusion yet, but certainly it's been very improper conduct, very biased conduct, whether they're aware of the bias or they just live in an echo chamber, I don't know. But what's happened here to a president of the United States, a duly elected president, should never happen again. So we're going to go forward with that. I had said the other day, I think right now, since most of our work, the Intelligence Committee, is done behind closed doors, I think the House Judiciary Committee should certainly look into all of the allegations and all, I believe, the solid factual foundation that we have in the memo that we released the other day.